right, man, let's talk about Brad Holmes being accused of reaching in the draft. My boy Lando sent me some reaction from CBS Athletic about the first round reaching. People can say that I think Broderick Martin, the guy with Western Kentucky, was a reach. You hear people throwing out draft grades and all that stuff. Man, all that's irrelevant, because I remember Brad Holmes said something about the draft, man. He said something he said it this year. I hear information about the draft that the mock drafters and the draft specialists don't have. All right? So, sometimes you can dig too deep and get in your way about some of these prospects. Sometimes people ignore the red flags. Wrote about my man from Ole Miss, Robert Kedemichi or whatever. Remember the D tackle from Ole Miss and shit, and Arizona took a chance on him, and it didn't really pan out. So, and it was later in the draft, so you could take risks like that later in the draft. Some people ignore the signs or whatever, but people say his whole first round was a reach. They said they was prepared to take Jamir Gibbs at number 6, and I'm gonna talk about that over Bijan Robinson. And Brad Holmes said he preferred Jamir Gibbs over Robinson. Okay, had a couple people tell me that, but I put it on TikTok and I put it on the shorts on YouTube. So support me on TikTok, Motor City Talk 313. So he said that that's what he preferred, and people said, well, he could have got him at 18, but the problem was that the New York Jets was going to take him at 15. He says that he heard, now he wasn't specific, this ended up leaking out, Mike sent this to me, that the Jets were going to take him at 15 if he was there. So at the end of the day, Jamir Gibbs wouldn't have been there at 18. He would have been going to the Jets, and he was hearing that Atlanta was trying to jump up in front of them at 18 and take Jack Campbell. So he went on and pulled the trigger. So, and people say, well, Jack Campbell was a second round pick. The mock drafts kind of contaminate people's thought process when it comes to the draft. It does. Because a lot of these mock drafts, like Brad Holmes say, don't have all the intel that they have. I mean, think about it. DK Metcalf went in the second round. A.J. Brown went in the second round. Derrick Henry went in the second round. Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall went into the second round. Now, you want to know why running backs went quick this year? A couple reasons why. What Saquon Barkley did for Daniel Jones. What Derrick Henry did for Ryan Tannehill and for the Titans last year. What Josh Jacobs did for the Raiders this year. Without him, they probably might not have won a damn game. I mean, you can go on and on and on. What Breece Hall did for Zach Wilson. Look how Zach Wilson dropped off and Breece Hall got injured. So, and also what Kenneth Walker did for the Seattle Seahawks. What Breece Hall was doing for Zach Wilson, like I said before. So, people starting to see the value in them. The top 10 running backs that's been going like top 10-ish, like McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Leonard Fournette is the only iffy one. Todd Gurley, a lot of them dudes have successful careers, and you can lean on them. So I ain't really getting into the draft grades and the reaching, because mock drafts, poison what you think. They're not really accurate. Mel Kiper had, Will Levis going into the top 5. He went all the way in the second round. Some people say Hendon Hooker would go in the first. People preferred him over Anthony Richardson. He was last into the third. So, people say, oh, he could have got him then. He could have got them then. It's no proof of that. You only going by what mock draft say. One mock draft said Brian Breece was a top 5 pick to start off. Myles Murphy was a top 7, 8 pick to start off. So we can go on and on and on and on and on about what some of these mock drafts say. But only time will truly tell who was a reach, who slipped and who shouldn't have slipped. So I can't call none of this a reach. And the Roger Martin guy out of Western Kentucky, he wasn't expected to go to 6th or 7th round. They took him, in the 3rd? So it's all it's all time will tell. Time will tell. Time will tell. And the hooker, might end up being the best quarterback in the class. Time will tell. So, you hear, a lot of people saying, "Oh, Holmes reach." Only time will truly tell. I talked to a few people. Jack Campbell's the best linebacker in this draft. I mean, I didn't know he was that big. But when you have Braylon Edwards out here putting a narrative out here, oh, he's too big to play, he's too slow to play the middle linebacker. Him and fucking Fred Warner the same 40 time. Him and Eric Kendrick the same 40 time. He just as big as he bigger than both of them. He 256, almost 6'5". Oh, you could have got Jamir Gibbs at 18. I mean, shit, Bijan Robinson went 8. And the word on the street was the Jets was going to take him at 15, so you couldn't have. And chances was Jack Campbell wasn't going to be there in the second round. So to me, we only could be able to judge him who reached, who failed, who should have went earlier 2-3 years down the line. Doing draft grades to me is crazy. Oh, they killed the draft, and he turned around and the draft wasn't so good. This is a fresh start. This is like starting high school. This is like starting Pop Warner. This is like starting Pal. Starting college. Anything you did before this point, when you walk into that locker room, don't matter. You got to prove yourself again. And a lot of these dudes get money and get complacent. They get the money and they stop working hard. This was their goal, and they get that goal and they like, okay, I'm content. And then they want to ratchet it up when it's time to pay them again. You got some guys that slip and fall and say they should have went more, and that's what drive them. That's what fueled them, like St. Brown. You got some people that say, okay, I got the money, I got the goal, but shit, I want to be the best. I want to be the greatest. So it's a lot that go into that. But you can't grade these guys who say, well, it was a reach. 2-3 years down the line, minimum. And what a lot of these GMs do and these coaches do, they find guys that don't fit their system and try to ask them to do something that they can't do. You draft a zone corner and ask him to come in and play man-to-man and wonder why he's getting cooked. You ask him a box safety to play man-to-man coverage in a nickel and play deep center field. So I mean, over his track record, he's had a good track record of putting shit together. Anna Zorky, we gotta wait and see. Josh Pascal, we gotta wait and see. But Panisa Well, St. Brown, I mean, Melifano play, he amazing. He truly amazing. I can't remember who went first last year. I can't remember. I'm trying to think. Oh, J-Mo and Aiden Hutchinson, fabulous. J-Mo, gotta wait and see a little bit more. So we'll see. We'll see. But saying he reached, only time will tell. Can't nobody prove that those guys would have been there at 18. And at 6, who they should have took. I talked about Jalen Carter. They didn't feel comfortable with the character. They never do. So I don't know why people were so surprised. Neither did Seattle. He went to a championship caliber, Georgia dominant, Philadelphia Eagles veteran base locker room. The Lions is one of the youngest teams in the league. So they probably didn't feel like it was a fit. So, but getting judged. I think it was a good draft on paper. I think it was a good draft. Some people may disagree with me. But we'll see. Look, I mean, the more and more you get to know about these guys, But as soon as they took Sam Laporta, it was a run on tight ends. a big run on tight end as soon as they took Sam Laporta. As soon as they took him, it was a nice run on tight ends. So think about that for a minute. It was a nice run on tight ends. Not after, I think the Cowboys wanted that tight end from Utah. He went, but then as soon as the Lions took a tight end, you see the Raiders jump up. You see a plethora of them starting to go off the board. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see. But you can't judge this shit until years down the line, bro. Reach or no reach, you just want to make sure you get the pick right. That's it. You want to make sure you nail these picks right. That's it. And at the end of the day, that's all that's going to matter. But hey, let me know what you girls and guys think. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel. And the subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance to get notifications. We go live or drop video financially. Want to support the channel. Cash App, $CJ Good313. Venmo, CJ Good313. PayPal link in the description. Hit my link tree up. You can find me everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Appreciate the love and support.